This comes from the word horizon. You look out at the horizon, it's just, right? So, anyway, we will, there's Joelle. We will play that. We're gonna do a little bit of other things first, and then we'll play a game. We'll see how many people show up. Okay, we're going to do some work, and then we're going to play a game. First thing I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna finish up with some things. So I'm gonna give you a practice. You will not know all of these. You might. And we've been working with this before you all came to our class. Okay? All right. So welcome. Welcome to our last night before spring break. Carmen is more, do you know what energetic means?
Yes.
Energy? Mm-hmm. Carmen is more energetic than I am. Carmen is the most energetic in this classroom. Aren't you? Okay, so most would be if we have 3 or more. So it's when you are comparing. Okay? Now, remember we use more and most when we have 3 syllables. I can't even write today. 3 syllables or 3 plus syllables. Intelligent is the first one, right? Mm-hmm. So that's 4 syllables. We have to say more or most. Now, if it's 1 syllable, and I don't know if I have the notes to this, but I'll find them. If we have 1 syllable, we use ER or EST. So 1 syllable, tall. Taller, tallest. We don't say most tall. So ER would be 2. EST would be 3 or more. If I'm comparing. So I don't know if I am, but I am the tallest in this classroom. Joelle, you are taller than Magdalena. Because, hello, because tall is 1, taller is, I'm sorry, taller is 2 people, tallest is many. We're doing a review, because it's part of our book review, so. All right, what's the other rule that we have? What about if it's 2 syllables? Pretty. Prettier. Prettiest. Right? There are some 2 syllable words that you have to say more or most. Do you know the rules? You all have the notes. I don't have the notes with me. There's a rule that, who has the rules with them? I think you were here. I don't know. Maybe you weren't. Maybe you weren't with our class then. Somebody has them, I know. Joelle does. Look at her binder.
Yeah.
Everything is in page protectors. But this is important to know, mainly in your speaking. Oh, Mom, I'm sorry. Oh, there it is. There it is. I have it somewhere, I know, but I just don't have it with me. I'll find it. I may even have it in that room over there. Okay, so when you have 2 syllables, where is it? I thought it was on this one. Where is it? One thing. I think I have another set. Do you have another set of notes? Okay, 2 syllables. I will just say it can be either way. It's usually this. Like pretty, Happy. It'd be happier. Prettier. Happiest. Prettiest. Who's the happiest in this classroom right now? Joelle. Joelle's like, I am. Okay, so Joelle is the happiest. Now, happy by itself is 2 syllables. Happiest is 3. We're looking at just this word, pretty. We would not say, usually we would not say more pretty. We would say prettier. And don't worry, we're not going to worry about the spelling. Don't worry about the spelling. It's more with our speaking, right? But if you have a Y, you drop it and you add an I-E-R. Happier. So I always say don't worry as much with the spelling because most often you're not writing this. Most often you're speaking, right? So that's when we want to be correct. Because I'm not going to say, oh, I'm more tall. We don't say that. Okay? So it's all about syllables. This one always uses more and most. So for the first one, and again, this is out of our book. It's at the very back of our book, and it's just a review. So we've already gone through this. It's really meant to be like a little test. I'm not going to do a test because let's just practice. So the first one, if you need to just write most or more on the line, that's fine because there's not much space. Oh, I gave you one. Okay. There you go. We're just practicing. I'm good. How are you?
Thank you.
Yeah, long week. Long week. Okay. I'm doing well. I'm just, ready for spring break. Okay, so number 1, it would be most or more? More intelligent because we're comparing sister and brother. That's 2. So we would use more. Intelligent. 4 syllables, we know it's going to be more. What about number 2? The blue whale is?
Is bigger.
Okay, so we have 1 syllable.
Biggest.
Bigger. Is
Bigger.
bigger.
The biggest. And sometimes we have to put the.
We have to put.
It's saying the blue, because it's comparing the blue whale to every.
Biggest.
So it's biggest. Now, if it ends in a consonant, what's the rule? We add another. If it's 1 syllable and it ends in a consonant, we add another G or we have a double consonant. Again, don't worry about the spelling, but I'm just going to show that. Okay, so we would say the biggest, right? Because we wouldn't say the blue whale is biggest animal. Now with number 1, never mind. Okay, number 3, Iceland is?
Older than Spain.
Okay, so Joelle added something else to that. What did you say?
Colder than Spain.
Colder than. So sometimes we have, because we're making a comparison, but when I say this, I can't say Iceland is colder Spain. We'd have to say colder than. That we use than in comparisons. Colder than. And it's usually when you have the ER, colder than. So Iceland is colder than Spain. Cold is 1 syllable, so I have to use ER. I'm comparing 2, but I have to put this word there. Colder than. Okay? So some of these we have to add that word. What about number 4? This is
The better.
The best.
The better.
best
The
book.
best. The best book.
And we have to use the best, and I know there's not a lot of room to write. I'm sorry, it's just, it's out of the book and I didn't leave a lot of room. The best book. The best book. If you wanna put this on paper, if you're writing it and you wanna write it on paper, you can just number it. If you wanna do it on paper, it's just not enough room. So, I've read a lot of books. That means that's why I use the word best, because it says I've ever read. We'll assume I read more than 2. And so good, we have good, better, best. So if I said, this book is better than this book. It's not a book, but it's a notebook. This book is better than this book.
It's not book.
That's when I use better than, right? Yes or no book, sorry. This is a dictionary, but this book is the best book. I don't have to use than. Usually I'm gonna use than with an ER word, not with an EST. Okay? Am I going too fast? Even if you just understand a couple things tonight from this, for some people this is new. Even if you just get some of this, it's okay. You may not get all of that, but that's okay. Number 5.
My neighbor is the luckiest person I know.
Good. Luckiest.
That's
Now lucky on this one, it is 2 syllables, right? Most of the time it's gonna follow this rule. I'm sorry, it's gonna follow this rule. No, this rule, I'm sorry. This is rule number 1. I'm sorry, it's been a long day for me, too. So with this, it's going to be luckiest. It'll be I-E-S-T. Luckiest. Neighbor is, there's 2 different ways to spell neighbor. That's one.
not
We have
you.
2, yeah, neighbor has 2 different spellings.
The neighbor is
Is,
not you. Before are not you. Eh? It's neighbor. Huh?
neighbor. Like someone lives next to me.
One, no S.
But because it doesn't say, if it doesn't say 2 different, I'm not comparing 2, I'm gonna assume it's a lot. Right, I have several neighbors. So I'd say the luckiest person I know. You know what lucky means? Like, who is getting lucky? Joelle, did you win? You won, so no, I don't know what, you didn't win. Fausto won. Fausto was the luckiest, bunco player. Lucky because he kept getting buncos.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah,
Four.
right?
It was 4. Yeah, it
Right?
was 4, right?
Oh,
So, Fausto is the luckiest person in this room when it comes to bunco.
Can you spell luckiest?
I can. It's always when you have that Y, the Y, when you're adding EST, I don't wanna have Y-I-E-S-T. So it's just drop the Y and add this, cause this still has the E sound, luckiest. Like if I write lucky, that's an adjective. These are all adjectives. That's where we use these when we're comparing adjectives. So lucky and luckiest.
I'm lucky.
And, and she's luckless. That's not a word, but it's your word. It's her made up word, right? are you feeling better? Are you feeling better? You wasn't feeling very well. It's like you weren't supposed to tell. Okay. Are you ready to move on? Does anybody not understand the word lucky? This is good for vocabulary. A penny. No, I'm not gonna talk about penny pincher. No, I don't need a penny, it's okay. But if I find a penny, it's supposed to bring good luck, right? So you find a penny, you put it in your pocket. Yes.
Maybe somebody noticed.
So you didn't find a penny apparently the other night, but if you find a penny, you pick it up. They say all day long you'll have good luck.
Always I see things in the book.
Yeah, pick them up. Just pick up
Maybe
one.
it's the no is correct. I don't know.
Huh?
Maybe I think no is correct. Because
If
I
it-
don't know what.
Okay, then do this.
sold.
Hey, is this a penny belong to anybody?
No, I think
Then you're not stealing.
maybe the other person don't have lucky. So
Oh, no, that doesn't matter about the other person. It doesn't. I'm superstitious. It'll bring you good luck.
okay.
Then you take that penny and you pinch it really hard. Then you go to Windstar.
With this hand.
Oh my God.
Whichever one. Then you go to Windstar. You don't play the penny. You keep it in your pocket. Has anybody been to Windstar? Yeah? I'm not a gambler. Okay. Let's see, number 6. Oh, tomorrow's Friday.
And next week spring break.
Huh?
Next week spring break.
And spring break. Oh, thank you.
The next week we're gonna have.
I will miss you all, but not that much. I need a vacation. No, I'll miss you. I'm just kidding. 1 week.
Yeah.
I will miss you. Yes.
But don't worry, okay? I'm busy. You come.
Come on by. I'll give you a mop or a vacuum cleaner. So
Okay.
I'm cleaning. Okay.
I'm not working.
Okay, come on over. All right, number 6. Friday is the
Busiest
busiest.
day of the week.
Oh, busiest.
Busiest.
Oh, Friday, not busiest.
Now that's a 2-syllable word. It's gonna follow this rule. This is 2 syllables will follow the 1-syllable rule most of the time. Does that make sense?
Yes.
If you have 3 syllables, it's always this. If you have 1 syllable, it's always this. 2-syllable words, usually this. So for this one, busy. That's 2 syllables. I'm not gonna say more busy. Busier. In this case, it's busiest. Because I'm comparing Friday to 6 other days. So remember, it has to be, I'm doing comparison of 2, this one is 3 or more. I'm gonna bring notes for you next time. I'm gonna go look in the computer lab. I may have them. All right, so number 7, these trainers are much
Cheaper. Those.
So I'm gonna say cheaper. And we're gonna talk about what that word much means. So it's cheap, because cheap is 1 syllable. Cheaper. Than, thank you. I was gonna say, because sometimes you have to use the word than.
Yeah.
So if I say this, these trainers are much, it means not just cheaper, but big, like much cheaper. Like this is cheap, this is cheaper, much cheaper. So it's just more, as I should say. All right, number 8, that was a hard one, but number 8, Frank works
Harder
harder than.
than most people. Yeah.
So I have to use, there are many times when I have the ER that I have to use than. let's look at number 9. Okay,
I am there.
I am better
I am better.
at English. Ooh, we have than right there, than you. Better, so we have good, better, best. So then if I said, okay, we have the happy, happier, happiest. Sad, sadder, saddest. Tall, taller, tallest. Short, shorter, shortest.
I'm shorter than your teacher.
Thank you. We just went over. That's perfect.
That was what I could think of when you said short.
But she's younger than me.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Like 2 years. 2 years.
2 years. Yeah, only 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 2 years.
Do not. Just go with it, okay?
I'm old.
Just go, okay.
I'm older more than you.
Not
No?
older than.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Older than. You're older than Lorena. I mean Lorena.
And
You're older
I'm
than
not
Helena.
Lorena.
I know, but Lorena. Okay. Yes.
Is Esther here? Esther?
Oh, this is Esther.
You're Esther. Perfect. You need to come with me. Because I'm shorter. I mean younger than you.
Oh my goodness.
That was good. That was good. All right, well, you go ahead with whatever her name is. No, I'm kidding. Okay. All right, number 10. Do we want to do these individually or just do them all together? All together? All right, today has been
A hottest.
hottest. The or the. Sometimes I say the, but I pronounce it the.
Double T.
The hottest.
Is that, we say that is not the.
Some people say the,
You when
This is
the, and some people pronounce it as the. I say the, usually, right then I said the, but I usually say
the.
the. All right, so we have the hottest, the biggest, right? So a lot of times, the luckiest, it's gonna be with your EST words. Okay. 11, this is, ooh,
The bad.
ooh, this is an irregular.
This is the most bad.
No, the good. See,
Ah. Ah.
This is the worst.
This is the worst. I know I'm writing all over the board here. The worst. Okay, so we
the
have.
worstest. No?
No.
The worst.
Most worstest, no. We have bad, then we have worse.
Worst.
It goes from bad to worse to worst. That is an irregular,
Yeah.
okay? Because bad is one syllable, but I can't add ER. I can't say badder. Although some people might say, I am the baddest. They do. That actually, you could say it, but I would never say I am badder. I would say I am worse. This is worse. That's a hard one. That one, I don't think we've had that one before, have we? Have we had bad before?
Yes.
We did? Okay. I was gonna say, these all we should have had because they were on the review. Yeah, you can go.
Would you mind helping
You go help them do something like that. I offered Jackie. She just don't want to take a picture. Okay, number 12. English is
English is easier than Japanese.
easier
Easier
than.
than.
Easier than. Anybody know Japanese? No. No one can speak Japanese?
Oh, you see, we go.
I also know Japanese.
I know only good morning.
That was very good.
I know
Wow.
only good morning. I really
Really?
Yeah. Wow.
You know how to say good morning in Japanese?
They say hee-haw.
Hee-haw? Hee-haw?
Hee-haw.
Hee-haw.
Yeah, no, it's in Chinese. It's ni
Oh,
hao.
this is Chinese?
Yeah.
Oh,
Chinese
yes.
is ni hao. Ni hao is Chinese.
I'm sorry.
Arigato.
You say hee-haw?
In Japanese, arigato.
You say
Arigato gozai.
It's Japanese?
Arigato gozai.
Yeah, Japanese.
Japanese.
That's pretty good. I know nothing.
Because they are like same. So,
That's funny. Okay, y'all crack me up. All right, 13. Which mountain is? I'm comparing a mountain to every mountain in the entire world.
It's hiker.
Highest. I have to say the highest.
in the world.
Which mountain is the highest in the world? So we have one syllable. So that follows the rule, right? Hi, come on in. Okay, number 14. John is. This is a good word though to learn.
Clever.
So it's two
Yeah.
syllables. My shoes are always so tight.
Clever.
Here, I'm gonna erase this. Clever.
The same word.
Does anybody know what clever means? Nice mom. Clever. Hello.
No.
Clever means I'm trying to use it in a way that you might understand better. If I am clever, it means I'm smart, but I'm kind of sneaky. You know what the word sneaky means? Like I'm real clever. Maybe not sneaky. Clever is another word for smart. It's a different kind of smart. Not what we call book smart, but maybe street smart. More along that line, but in a good way. Clever. That is a hard word to explain. It's an adjective, but it does mean like smart. Oh. Okay, so clever, yeah, we are on number 14. We're gonna get through all these and then we're gonna move on to something else. So John, this is a good review, and then we probably won't come back to this for a long time. I think we understand it, but, all right, so John is more clever. Okay,
More.
so for the two syllables, this is one that I can't say cleverer. More clever. So
Exception, yeah.
a lot of times if a word ends in R, like this, not always, there's just exceptions to our rules. This is not a word. It's cleverer. No. With this word, we say more.
More clever.
More clever. So sometimes two syllable words follow this rule. And I'm sure there's another one that's probably on this list, but I'll think of some other ones. But most of the time it's gonna follow this rule. All right, so the next one, number 15, English is
more
Useful than, yeah.
more useful.
Useful.
So we don't pronounce the E though, we just say useful. Useful. Useful means that we can use it. We can use English here in America a lot more than you will ever use Latin. They don't even teach Latin anymore in the high school. They stopped teaching Latin a few years ago.
Wow.
At least at the high school my kids went to. It's just not used. A lot of students don't take it as a language. They take French, Spanish, of course, German is a popular one. Those are probably the three most common languages that are taken in high school. High school, they have to take 2 years. High schools here, they have to take 2 years of foreign language. So when they are done with their second year, they're pretty fluent in a language. So, all right, number 16. What is
Common.
the most common? Because we're talking about all the words in English, right? There are thousands of words in English. I don't even know how many there are. I'll have to ask Siri. Siri, how many words are there in English? And she'll say, I don't know. She'll say, many. I can't count that high. Okay, 17, the Nile is the longest river in the world. So long, are we following yep, we're following the rule. It's this rule here. Most of the time, it always will be one syllable, EST or ER. But we have to use the word the before it, the longest. This is my
Oldest road. Oldest
Order.
okay, so how do I know how many there are?
oldest.
So there's a brother and then there's Mary. So honestly, looking at this, I wouldn't know. I have one brother. I have he's older. I have an older brother and a younger brother. So I would say my older brother because there's 2. On here, I don't know how many. I really don't. I look at it. Mary is their oldest daughter,
Oldest son, yeah.
right? I wouldn't say they're older. I would probably say their oldest daughter. That's a weird one because we don't know. This is my older brother. I wouldn't say old brother. This is my old brother. Yeah, no, because that's saying that he's really old. So I would not want someone to say, this is my old sister. No, that's not nice. Okay, number 19. That skyscraper
Skyscraper is
one
one of
That's definitely one.
the tallest.
tallest.
Do you know what a skyscraper is? Okay. Do we have skyscraper? I can't say it. Skyscraper. Everybody say skyscraper. Skyscraper. Maybe it's just me that can't say it. We don't have any skyscrapers in Louisville, do we? No.
I never seen one.
No, there is. Do we have skyscrapers in Denton? No. A skyscraper is multiple floors. So we have skyscrapers in Dallas.
Yeah.
And in Fort Worth, but not here. So I'm not sure how many floors is considered a skyscraper. That will be another question for who? Siri. I ask her a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I do. All right, number 20. The first exercise was easy, but this one is more difficult. Difficult. That's 3 syllables. It always follows that rule. More difficult. 21. Our journey to. I'm sorry, not to. Our journey took longer than we expected. a journey. Do you know what a journey is?
Journey like it's different like a day.
A journey could be a short trip. I can use it even if I'm gonna take a journey to, Wichita Falls. That's 2 hours from here for the day. So it's kind of like another word for trip,
Trip.
kind of. If I go on a journey, I'm maybe exploring, I'm going sightseeing.
But I think in general, we don't go by plane, we go by car.
However, yeah, it could be any way. A journey is really just a trip someplace. I usually use journey if it is not a vacation. Like I would, I use journey if I said, I'm gonna take a journey through the park in Fort Worth. I'm gonna journey through the park. But that's a word that is however you mean it. Like I wouldn't use it for a long vacation. To me, that's not a journey. But this is what we call an association. I associate journey with quick little trip. Okay? All right, 22. Charles says, the noisiest.
The noisiest.
So I'm gonna take the Y and I'm gonna drop the Y and add IEST. The or the noisiest. If there's a word you don't know, because this is a great just review of words. This next one I'm not gonna read. You guys are gonna read. Number 23.
Madrid population is the longest Santander.
Santander. I don't know what Santander is, but who knows where Santander is?
It's a city of Spain.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yes.
Santander. I heard it, I just didn't know where it was from. All right, so larger than. So do you notice how when we're using ER words, a lot of it is than, bigger than, larger than. So we use that when we're using ER words a lot. May not be all the time. Nothing makes me
angry.
English.
More angry.
Okay, so if angry, 2 syllables. So if you look this up in the dictionary, the English dictionary, I can say it 2 ways. Nothing makes me more angry than, or I can say nothing makes me angrier than. I can use either one. Sometimes you can use either. The dictionary, I don't have an English dictionary, but either one is acceptable. I would probably say nothing makes me angrier